Hello, it's Jennifer from Sea Lemon. In this video, I will share with you 10 ways that can help boost your creativity. Maybe you've hit a creative block or you have a job that's creatively demanding. Sometimes when we get in sort of a creative rut, we get blinders or tunnel vision, and it's just really hard to realize the simple things that you can do to help you get out of that rut. These are things that have helped me over the years, but I know everybody is different, so at the very least, maybe they'll provide some inspiration for you. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, and I will talk a bit more about them later, but for now, let's get into these tips. My first tip is to try and maximize the best time of day that you are the most creative. As a creative person, it's good to know your mind and know when you work at your best. If you've never thought about this, go ahead and try to keep track of it. Some people are morning people, some people are night owls, and usually the time where they feel the most energized to make stuff is when they are at their creative best. But obviously, the world doesn't operate at the times that we want it to. You have a 9-to-5 job or you go to school. So if you don't have the luxury of choosing when you want to work on creative stuff, you can block out time in the beginning of your day or the end of your day, depending on when you feel the most creative, to work on your side project or to concept ideas for the work you do in the middle of the day. I'm not saying you have to wake up early or stay up late to work on stuff, but if it helps you generate more ideas, or if a half hour of that time helps you put better work into the time that you need to be creative, sometimes it could be really beneficial. When I was working as a full-time graphic designer at an office, sometimes I just wasn't very creative in the afternoon and I just couldn't come up with any ideas. But in my drive home, I started to come up with ideas when I wasn't at the office or at night when I was getting ready for bed. So I always had a sketchbook near me and kept track of just ideas. So when I went back to work, I can plug those ideas in and work on my creative projects. I know some people really like to get up early and they have their morning coffee and they get up before everybody else does because that's the time that they have the least distractions and they can work on their stuff. And I've also seen artists who stay up late past midnight. They work until like 3 a.m. because that's the time they feel the best to work on their stuff. When it's early in the morning or late at night, there's just this stillness of time that you're not being distracted by anything. The world is kind of quiet and not bugging you yet, and it can be really beneficial to have that time to yourself and to focus on what you're doing. When I was in college, I usually did stay up after midnight working on stuff because that's when I was the most creative. I was a night owl. I am naturally a night owl, but as you get into the working world, you can't always do that. You have to adapt depending on your working situation, your living situation. So I have since become more of a morning person. Some days I still do take some time at the end of the night. I'll stay up late and sacrifice my sleep. But I do want to say that it is important to get a good night's sleep. Don't sacrifice so much time that you're harming your brain and your body by losing sleep. Whatever time of day works best for you, know when that is, track it, figure it out so that you can kind of have that in your back pocket and you know when your brain can maximize the best time of day to be creative. Next one is music. This is really easy to forget. Sometimes I forget to turn on the music when I'm working on stuff. If there's no noise, sometimes I feel like it's making my work go by slower and I work slower. So just having something in the background really helps. I like music that's not going to interrupt me. And sometimes when there's this is really picky, but sometimes when there's songs or music that has a lot of breaks in it or a lot of talking or something, that kind of interrupts my focus. So I like really melodic and harmonizing music. I don't really know what to call it. I do have a Spotify playlist if you are looking for new music to listen to while you work. I'll put the link down below. Sometimes I listen to Google Play just to switch it up a little bit. There's also a lot of YouTube channels that just play, I think they're called study beats, and it's also that melodic kind of repetition. I prefer what is called lo-fi hip hop or trip hop or chill hop. There's a few names for it, but once you hear it, you'll know what I mean. I like that kind of music to make art to doodle to, and to just kind of work. I like to use music to block out distractions, put my headphones on or put your earbuds in and it will just really help you focus. Certain music can help me feel less anxious and less intimidated to start projects. Some people like noise apps. There's a lot of them out there. Some of them have like coffee shop chatter in the background. Maybe that helps you work, or the sound of rain falling. Audiobooks help, but I kind of prefer to listen to those while I'm making something, but not so much while I'm editing something, so it kind of depends on what I'm working on. Some people like to watch movies while they work. I can't really do that because it's too distracting for me. I want to listen and watch to what the dialogue is happening, but I do like to watch movies to reset my brain if I'm really stumped, and that escape can help me come back to the work and make me feel more creative. Something else that can help reset your creativity is to do the opposite of what your project deals with or what you're doing, or something really repetitious. I feel like when you force yourself to do something mundane like cleaning or folding laundry or doing some kind of task that you already know how to do and your brain can just go on autopilot, I feel like that leaves the other side of your brain to have freedom to reset and kind of figure out the creative block that you're in. There's a saying that the best ideas happen when you're in the shower, and I think there is some science to that. Because when you're just on autopilot and you're just doing your thing without thinking, there is a part in your brain that is thinking, and it's giving that part freedom to wander and to come up with new ideas. A few years ago, I was watching an Albert Einstein documentary, and I remember they mentioned that whenever he was kind of stumped on trying to solve a problem, he always went on walks, and that totally helps. I totally agree with that. I take Kono for a walk all the time. Not to say knitting and bookbinding is mundane, but it is repetitious. Your hands are on autopilot, or you're just kind of doing something over and over and over, can help that side of your brain just take a break, and then another part just figures stuff out. I have a lot of bookbinding projects on my channel. If you ever want to stitch a book, I think that part of the bookmaking process can help, like Coptic stitch or long stitch or saddle stitch. You can try sewing, you can try knitting, anything that's kind of repetitious. Another thing you can try is changing your scenery. Sometimes when you're looking at the same project for so long, you can miss things or you don't see things the right way anymore, and you just need a visual break. Even if it's changing your scenery or environment during your lunch break, a new environment can reset your brain and make you see things in a new way. Wander around someplace that's a lot different than the environment that you're used to working in. So if you have too much visual stimulation and you come from a chaotic work environment, go someplace that doesn't have a lot going on, that's the complete opposite. Someplace peaceful, that's more calming and simple. Nature can really help with that. Or maybe you're in a sterile environment where it's not creative enough and it's just really blank. You have a blank wall to look at. Go somewhere that's visually stimulating, that has a lot going on, and you can get more inspiration and your mind just gets more stimulated to be more creative. You could walk around the mall, even walk around Target or Michael's. You don't have to buy anything. It's more just to jog your creativity and get your brain going. If you have time, changing your scenery by traveling is really great. Experiencing a new culture can give you a new way, a new perspective at looking at things, and help you come back to your creative work with a fresh mind. I feel like it helps your mental database so that you have more visual reference to recall on, and it can help you change the way you approach different projects, help you make better decisions when you're solving creative problems. If you can't physically change your scenery or go somewhere, the internet is full of places to wander. There is so much creative resource online now, and that inspiration can help spark ideas. I remember when I was in college and I was looking for inspiration for projects, we didn't have any of that. We went to books and magazines and went places. But now there's just so much online that I feel like it can be overwhelming sometimes. So I think there's a balance to that. Don't get so inspired by everything online and overwhelmed that it's stopping you from making the creative work that's original to you. Use it as you need it in the time you have, but don't let it suck you in where you can't get anything creative done at all. Next is to keep an organized workspace. A chaotic setting can lead to distractions, which leads you to procrastinate on the work that you need to get done, which leads you to focusing on stuff that isn't productive to your creativity. This includes cleaning your workspace or your desk or your computer. It can help you get to your work faster, help you get your creative work ideas out easier because everything is organized. But also, I feel like it helps to declutter the stuff online that you follow. If you take the noise out of wherever your workspace is, it can really help you, and that goes for social stuff. I know there's so much stuff to follow online now and you want to keep track of everything, but sometimes following everything can add more noise and clutter to your creative work. I recommend going through your social feeds and take note of what is really inspiring you and what are the accounts that are really beneficial to your creativity. Otherwise, if it's not, it's just putting clutter and noise and wasting your time by looking through all the stuff that isn't helping you. I hope when you're doing this, you don't unfollow Sea Lemon. If you are following me, it's really up to your preference on who inspires you and what you look at as visual inspiration. It may sound mean to unfollow accounts, but in the end, it's whatever is really benefiting you and helping you be the best creative self you can be. Next, I think it's really beneficial to organize your ideas, your projects in a notebook or someplace, and also give yourself a place where you can just unload everything onto paper. I recently went through how I do this in my notebooks, how I made my own DIY system that works best for my brain for unloading my ideas and sorting them, organizing them. You can check that out up here, and I will also link it down below. You may have a lot of creative ideas that are scrambling around in your brain and they need a place to go and they need a place to get organized. You can do this on your computer in a text doc or a Google Doc, Evernote, whatever you prefer to use, or in a notebook like I do. And you don't have to start by having all of them super organized. That's where a brain dump can be really beneficial, is to just have a moment to get all your ideas out on a piece of paper. There's no dumb ideas, it's just whatever is in your brain to get it out, and then you can sort it from there and organize it. Giving yourself the freedom to let go of everything on paper can really help clear your mind so that you can make room for other creative ideas. A bullet journal can also help for this, and I do have a video going over mine. You can use that as inspiration if you want to. And if you're having trouble coming up with ideas, a mind map can help with this. A mind map is basically you can put your topic, your project in the middle, and from there make branches and come up with other topics that are related to the main thing. It's an organized way to come up with new ideas, and it's all laid out and sorted so you can see where you came from, and it's a simple way to generate some creative ideas. Another way to boost your creativity could be as simple as grabbing a cup of coffee, your favorite tea, your favorite snack or drink. Just the routine itself can help me get out of a creative funk. Coffee and tea have caffeine in them, and obviously it's going to give your body a little boost, a little kick to get more motivated. Obviously, with any stimulant, you want to have moderation. Don't drink too much coffee where you can get caffeine poisoning. Don't go overboard where you can't get any sleep at night. Sometimes I'll have a glass of iced green tea, or I'll make myself a matcha latte. It can just really depend on what works for you. A substitute for caffeine is working out. It's stimulating your body and getting your blood flowing to your brain, which is going to give you more creative ideas. I dismiss this way too often, really underestimate how working out really makes me feel more productive, which makes me feel more creative. It's amazing how just 15 to 30 minutes of continuous exercise and working out can really help me get more energized, take my mind off of stuff, and then I can return to my work feeling refreshed. It benefits my health, it helps my mood. I think when artists and designers or creative people are expected to be creative all the time, people forget that they're human and you need to take care of yourself. Otherwise, you can't come up with those brilliant ideas and you can't get all that work done. So it really helps to just take a little time out of your day and exercise. Like the saying, healthy body, healthy mind. The next thing that may help you is giving yourself a deadline. I know nobody likes deadlines, but sometimes when you have a project that you're kind of sitting on and you have no structure to it or anybody telling you that it needs to get done at a certain time, you need to do that for yourself, because when you put a little fire under your butt to get something done, it does kind of force yourself to come up with new creative ideas that will help you get it done. I do this to myself on my Sea Lemon channel. I try to give myself a weekly deadline. It doesn't always happen, but I did put that pressure on myself, and I have you guys to hold me accountable, and it does help me come up with more creative ideas so that I can get the stuff done and accomplish my creative goals. So maybe you have a creative project that you have all the time in the world to do and it just isn't going anywhere. Try giving yourself a deadline and stick to it. It will help you. Another way to boost creativity is to try an art challenge. I have a lot of these on my channel, including doodle challenges. It can help your mind when you use creative thinking to do quick exercises and try new ways to stretch your sketch muscles. It can be something as silly as doing a pancake art challenge. It can be really helpful and fun to just have a place or an excuse to let loose creatively and just do something silly or not your everyday work. It can give your creative mind a break, but also help your creative mind look at things in a new way and try new things. And another way to help boost creativity is to have a side project or hobby outside of your regular work. If you have the time, I know people have families or obligations, but if you have time, it can really be beneficial to have your own thing going outside of your full-time work. The most important thing is that it's something you have control over. When you have a full-time job or you have a boss, oftentimes you are not always in control and you're taking orders from someone or you have clients that are making more of the decisions. As a creative person, I think it helps to have some place to go to where you have all of the creative control. It doesn't have to be something you make money from, although that can be helpful if you need some extra income, but even just something like playing an instrument or having some kind of hobby or outlet where you call the shots, you have the creative freedom, can be a nice relief from all the stresses that are going on in your full-time work. And when you have that outlet of relief, it can in turn boost the creativity and energy that you put into the other work, your full-time work. To use this Sea Lemon as an example, I started Sea Lemon as an Etsy shop outside of work, and I just started by making my own books, my own sketchbooks, because I really liked bookbinding, and just the act of doing that on the side really energized me and made me more of a well-rounded creative person, so I could bring that back to the work that I was doing full-time. Try giving yourself the creative freedom to try something you've always wanted to do. Maybe it's a cooking class. Give it a try and maybe it will boost your creativity and fulfill you as an artist or creative person. And if you want to give bookbinding a try or some DIY projects, I do have a source for that. You can go check out my channel. I made Sea Lemon into an outlet for everyone to have creative freedom and try some projects. Now I want to talk about this video sponsor, Squarespace. If you want to share your creativity with the world, Squarespace is a really easy way to make a creative website. Maybe you want to start an online shop, share your portfolio, start a blog, or just make a website for your creative project. Squarespace has really nice, beautiful, modern templates, and you don't have to take the time to code your website. They do that for you, and they have 24/7 customer service if you need any help. You can go check out squarespace.com for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch your website, you can go to squarespace.com/sealemon for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I will also put that link below, and I hope this video gave you some ideas and inspiration and helps you seize your creativity. Honestly, for me, a balance of all of these things helps me be a more creative person and boost my creativity. I'm really curious how many times I've said creativity in this video, but seriously, a balance of these things helps me, and I'd like to know what helps you boost your creativity, so leave it in a comment below. Hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and I will put a couple of other videos. I will also put those links down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more creative videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!